China is home to some of the world's largest airlines, with the big three Chinese carriers, Air China, China Eastern, and China Southern all coming to mind. But have you heard of Juneyao Air? While it might not be as well known internationally, this rising star in China's aviation scene is making waves with its very interesting route network and surprising affordability. Today, I will take you on a journey on board one of the flagship Boeing 787 Dreamliners from Shanghai Pudong to Helsinki as part of an itinerary from Singapore. Glad that you are joining me today, so come along as we'll see if Juneyao Air is worth flying on, and stay to the end to find out how much I paid for this ticket. Hello and good morning from Shanghai Pudong Airport Terminal 2. I've just arrived from Singapore and will be connecting onwards to Helsinki. The transfer process is surprisingly efficient and seamless, allowing me to clear security checks without needing to enter the country, and it was quick too. As I still got some time here, I decided to get myself a bowl of ramen before heading to my boarding gate. Terminal 2 offers a good selection of restaurants and duty-free shops, even at this time of the day. Earlier, I took a flight on the Airbus A320neo from Singapore, as part of an itinerary from Singapore to Helsinki via Shanghai. In short, that flight was not as comfortable as the 787s, which you'll see shortly. It's not the worst, but it's not very ideal for a 5-hour flight from Singapore. For the A320neos, business class uses a relatively basic Recaro CL4710 recliner seat in a 2-2 configuration, while economy class uses the Recaro CL3530 slimline seats in a 3-3 configuration, offering a mere 28 inches of pitch, which is really tight for a full-service airline. Heck, these seats have the same amount of space as Scoot's economy on their A320s, which is saying something. There were also no individual IFE screens available too behind the seats. At least there were pillows at each seat though. In-flight catering was relatively basic too for this overnight flight, so I just spent my time catching some sleep before the long haul to Helsinki. Under the painted skies at the crack of dawn is the plane taking me to Helsinki today. It's Bravo 208 Alpha, a 6.8-year-old Boeing 787-9 painted in Juneyao Air's gorgeous Chinese ribbon livery, one of the 5 liveries for its 10-strong Boeing 787 fleet. Their Chinese name, Jixiang Hangkong, literally translates to Auspicious Airlines, which is one hella cool name for an airline. Even cooler, the English name of the airline was supposed to be Phoenix Airlines before they decided against it and settled on Juneyao Air, so that was quite a missed opportunity. The crew soon boarded their aircraft, and before I knew it, boarding had commenced. Business class passengers boarded first. However, the boarding for economy was chaotic and a free-for-all without following the boarding group sequence. Nevertheless, I've made it in, so let's see what Juneyao Air's Boeing 787 has in store for us, shall we? Turning right into the cabin, we see 295 Recaro CL3710 economy seats laid out in a 3-3-3 configuration. This exact seat model is used across many different airlines, including onboard seatbelt, which is covered in our previous video. Ahead of economy are 29 Thomson Aero Advantage XL staggered lie-flat seats in a 1-2-1 configuration, which looks quite comfortable in the pictures. I soon arrived at my assigned seat, 52 kilo, a window seat on the right side of the aircraft. This definitely looks miles better than the seat I got on the A320 flight to Shanghai, with a lot more wiggle room to stretch. Even better, my flight was only half full, and I managed to score a whole row of seats to myself, perfect for such a long flight to Europe. that we're in the air, let me share more about the route we are flying on today. The Shanghai to Helsinki route is only flown directly by two carriers, Juneyao and Finnair, operating 4 weekly and 2 weekly flights respectively. However, as Finnair does not use Russian airspace for their flights, the flight times of the two airlines vary greatly, with Finnair's flight averaging around 13 hours of flight time, while Juneyao Air's flight only averages around 9 hours of flight time, a huge 4-hour difference. Both airlines are in a joint venture on this route, so the timetable is coordinated and revenue is shared between the airlines, with the added benefit of maximizing connectivity on both ends of the route. Fares-wise, if you are just booking a flight between Shanghai and Helsinki, round-trip fares are in the thousands. But it's interesting to see that the fares charged by Finnair are consistently lower than Juneyao, given that it has a higher operating cost on this route. Now let's take a closer look at the seat we have on board. The seat has a rather good 31 inches of pitch with a narrow 17 inches of width, sufficient for a person that's 1.8 meters tall. The tray table is foldable and can be adjusted. Unlike aboard the A320s, there are in-flight entertainment screens behind every seat on this Boeing 787, with 3 earpieces distributed before takeoff. Now let's check out the in-flight entertainment system. The system is offered in 2 languages, Mandarin and English. An array of movies and TV shows were available, but the selection was comparatively modest when compared with Western and Middle Eastern airlines, a downside of most Chinese carriers. But being a Chinese airline, there were, of course, quite a few Chinese titles that you don't see on other airlines. There is also a modest selection of music and special content for kids. Lastly, a flight map is also available, showing you the progress of the flight. Apparently, there is also Wi-Fi available on board, but unfortunately, I couldn't get it to work, as I'll need to key in a Chinese phone number which I do not have. Not long later, the cabin crew came out of the galley with the service cards, signaling the start of the first meal service. 2 choices were offered, either beef with noodles, 牛肉面, or pork with rice, 猪肉饭. I went with the beef with noodles, which turned out to be a spaghetti bolognese dish topped with some cucumbers. Definitely not the kind of beef noodles I was expecting, to be honest. The meal is accompanied with some freshly cut fruits, a piece of cake, bread and butter, as well as a bayberry juice drink. I took a bite and, unfortunately, found the pasta too salty for my liking. The cake, on the other hand, is not too sweet and has the right amount of flavour. The crew also served drinks afterwards, where I went with a cup of Sprite. The crew soon dimmed the cabin lights after the meal service and I soon drifted to sleep. When I woke up a few hours later, I checked out the galley at the back of the plane. There are drinks available if you need it. I soon took another nap and woke up when the crew turned on the lights again for the second meal service. This time round, however, the crew only served a hot ham and cheese sandwich followed by a drink service. I gave the sandwich a try and I must say, the hot sandwich is indeed very comforting in the cold cabin. The only minor gripe I have is that the portion size is too small for a meal that's 6 hours after the previous meal service, as I was still hungry afterwards. Many passengers asked for second servings too. 10 hours passed and we soon started descending into Helsinki, so it's time to share my verdict on this flight. Overall, the whole journey was pretty decent actually, with 1 main meal and a sandwich service, basic in-flight entertainment, and comfortable seats. The crew on this flight were friendly at the start, but their warm service started to fade into the flight, probably due to fatigue. There were some noticeable shortcomings too, such as a lackluster selection of movies and TV shows on the IFE, or the pretty basic meals on board, but considering that I only paid 500 Singapore dollars for a one-stop flight from Singapore to Helsinki via Shanghai, I would still say it's pretty good value. They are definitely a full-service airline, but they only cover the basics with not many bells and whistles in economy class, so try not to have too high expectations when you fly with them. I would definitely consider flying Juneyao Air again, if the price is right, but I just can't help noticing the huge difference in comfort between their narrow-body and wide-body flights. So they definitely have to work on having a more consistent and comfortable product in order to differentiate themselves with the largest state-owned airlines in China. Juneyao Air is one of the airlines that continue to fascinate me, and I can't wait to see how their product will evolve as they continue to compete in China's very competitive aviation landscape. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Do remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed our content, and I'll catch you all on your next short transit.